Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back to I Allegedly. And I've got a good one for you today because all of this, everything that we're living through has consequences and it's only getting worse right now. So please like this video, follow this channel, and let's get right into it. I am still in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I am at the CMU Car Show. I've been there, the last 2 days. It's fantastic. And I'm going to interject a lot of the show in the background of this video as we talk about this stuff. So, absolutely wild, guys. Now, first things first, we had a socialist uh, elected mayor of New York City, and I'm not going to congratulate that guy. I'm just going to kiss New York City goodbye. That's what I'm going to do. So I think that that's the end of the city. I really, really do. I think that this guy um, had the opportunity to come out and bring a rah-rah, let's get together, kumbaya speech, and even Dan Jones, who I think is a little bitch, stepped forward, and even he said, wow, he handled that really poorly. So wait and see, because it all has consequences. The FAA just announced that they are cutting all flights in the United States by 10% right now. The economics of this are going to destroy everything. Now, I could have flown out to Vegas. I didn't want to. I didn't want to deal with the traffic. I didn't want to deal with everything that goes along with that, and waiting and TSA and all that stuff. Now, the next thing is IBM. Good old IBM is going to lay off 3,000 people. Those are adults, guys. Those are breadwinners. Those are heads of household that are going to lose their job between now and the end of the year. Okay? Restructuring, reframing, AI, it's everything. But what they're talking about is that this is going to make us, more profitable with our headcount. Again, 3,000 people. They say that it's only 1%. So they say that they have over 300 people, 300,000 people that work there. But understand this, they're basically 270,000 people that work there, and they're going to lose 3,000 people. This is layoff season, guys. I talked about this earlier in the week, and you haven't seen anything yet. If you have a job, there's a thing called job hugging. You should do that. You need to embrace your boss. You need to do whatever you can to be on time, be early, be somebody who's going to be an effective team member, so that you're not part of the problem. Because I don't like Dan. Dan's kind of a smart ass. Let's get rid of Dan. Okay? It's going to be easier. You're going to have more problems with that than you are with people that could keep their job right now. Please remember that. Toyota, another million cars getting recalled. Over 1 million vehicles getting recalled, guys, is absolute lunacy. There's just so many vehicles because of the rear camera backing up and not being safe. And now, understand this, guys. This is not just the camera doesn't work. This is everything from the angle of the camera, because I talk to all these car guys. What's the big deal about the camera? Oh, well, you know how when you have your rear camera, you back up and see the little symbols in there? What if they're off 6, 8 inches? What if they're off 3 feet? Uh-oh. And you hit somebody or something, or a dog or another car or a building or anything. That's what they're concerned about, because sometimes the math ain't mathing and it's not working right. So over 1 million Toyota Tundras, you know, 1,024,407 cars, to be exact, are being, cut back and recalled. That is crazy. 2022 to 2026, Toyota and Lexus models of various degrees are going to be cut back and recalled. Okay? Michael Burry. Michael Burry, remember The Big Short, the great movie? Well, he is being called out because he has a huge short position right now. He believes that we're going to see a stock market collapse, but he says that we're going to have a problem when it comes to AI stocks. So he is betting and bought, over 1.1 billion, $1.1 billion has been bet against, and he bought puts, which means a put and a call. A call option means that you think the price is going to go up. A put means you think it's going to go down. He bought $1.1 billion of puts against NVIDIA and Palantir. Whoa, really? Wow. Well, again, with the Big Short, remember all the real estate? How he bet against the, all the stocks and all the companies that were going for those collateralized debt obligations, where they put all the mortgage together. This guy made billions of dollars on that. Well, now he's betting another 1.1 billion from Zion. So, does he know something? He's talking about a global sell-off for stocks around the world. That we're going to see an AI problem, but we're going to see global stocks sell off. So, who knows? But I wonder, a lot of people don't get it, but, you know, in the UK, from the Telegraph, they're talking about a global stock market's on the verge of correction as AI fears mount. Now, I have friends, brilliant friends, that work in AI, and that are like, you haven't seen anything. The machine learning is going to continue to take off, and it's only going to go up. But if you are somebody that thinks that you're never going to lose your job, you are delusional. You are kidding yourself. You are going to lose your job. You're going to be unemployed, because if you don't go along with this and you don't get the knowledge, you're going to be I like when the cops come running by me and tells me not to worry. Okay? Look at this guy. Okay. Anyways, if you are intelligent, then you could have the potential to be around. So,
Yes, yes, yes.
hey, what was it?
Sorry, I don't know. I was just walking up to the sidewalk to cross, and two guys are fighting with one guy, and I mean,
Oh, okay.
it's not. I don't
Okay.
know what happened,
Okay.
but two guys shouldn't be against one.
Two guys against one, guys. Okay? So, anyways, casino life. Okay? So, anyways, you get a little bit of live action, live news here in new videos. Okay? So, do you think there's a stock market bubble? I think everything's overvalued. I'm surprised that it's taken as long as it has, and that things continue to go up, 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 up. It's very interesting. If the tariff things get turned down, and the Supreme Court says that tariffs have to get stopped, that they're saying that the price is going to go through the roof for the stock market. So we will see. We will see. David Solomon is the CEO of Goldman Sachs. He steps forward and he said, wow, do we have a problem? And he spoke at an economic forum this week and said that we have $40 trillion in bond debt that could explode, and this is something that the markets need to look at. And when these companies don't get paid, can't pay out, and they start to fail, that everything is going to collapse globally. Now, should we be concerned about that? Again, he's a trusted guy. He's smart. I think that you should listen to this. But once again, start at your own house. What are your finances like? Do you have an emergency fund? You need to have an emergency fund right now. Greg Manarino is convinced of one thing, that even gold will sell off when the S hits the fan, and that people are going to unload their gold, and that it's going to be a fire sale. Okay, have your own opinion. Have your own opinion. Now, the New York Fed issued a report, and my friend Mike sent me this because it's brilliant. U.S. household debt hits a record $18.6 trillion as student loan defaults explode. I am telling you this right now. The thing that blows me away is I get written letters and notes, and my nephew, he borrowed his student loan debt and bought a car. My nephew went on vacation with his student loan money. I mean, come on, guys. It was not intended for that. It was intended for you to get higher education and be able to further your career and go earn a living and pay the debt back. But guess what? People are not paying it back. And in this economic cycle, there's no free love. Now, people shouldn't be burdened by student loan debt. If the mayor of New York had his way, you wouldn't pay for anything. Only problem is this guy grew up so wealthy. This guy's never ran a company. He's never signed the front of somebody's paycheck. That's a line I love to use because it means that they paid somebody. They met payroll to pay people. This guy doesn't know how to do that. But he's 33 years old and you just gave him the biggest city in the country to run. It's going to be a tragedy. Okay? So there's an absolute ton of stuff to see outside, and I want to show it to you guys. It just goes on forever. I mean, every type of paint, every type of accessory, every type of wheel, every type of spring, every type of strut, every type of, rebuild you can get and see out here. It's pretty amazing. That it really, really is. It's a company that sells old vintage cars and they turn them into electric vehicles from Japan. Saw that. We saw a company that just sells old body parts of cars and you can get the old bodies, and then build it out from there. They just paint it, powder coat it. Well, let me show you some more. No one is doing well. No sector is doing well. You've got household debt increased $197 billion in the third quarter of 2025 to a record $18.59 trillion, split between $13.5 trillion in housing debt and $5.1 trillion in non-commercial debt. The debt is rising at a moderate rate, but because it's so high, it's out of control. You know how it works. Let's say you have a $5,000 credit line and you're at $4,500 and then they raise it to $7,500. Woohoo, Marge. You've got all that money to spend and then you spend the $7,500. Here's what you're going to start experiencing between now and the end of the year and the first quarter. They're going to take your credit balances and they're going to cut them. And they're going to take that $7,500 credit line that you owe now, you maxed out, you owe $7,480 on it, and they're going to say, okay, we're going to cut it back to $5,000. So now you're $2,000 over your credit limit, and you're going to have 90 days to pay it off, or we're going to shut the account down. That happened. It happened in 2021. It's going to happen again. Mark my words on this. Mark my words on this. But again, people have no money. People are going, in Vegas. Vegas is dead right now, guys. Other than that show, the restaurants are dead. The cab drivers are dead. You're seeing the real estate market out here where things are taking so much longer to sell than they did 6 months ago. It's getting worse and worse and worse. Rents are going down, and I covered that in the last video during this time. But I went to a very cool guy last night, Lucky Lopez. I went to his party, and it was great, fantastic. Had a Circa hotel, but there was a lot of other YouTubers there and people I had met before at his other events, and just good people that some are doing very well, some are struggling right now, depending on the sector that they're in. And it's weird because the car sector is doing very well, but people are not paying. Mortgage balances grew by $137 billion in the third quarter, like they did to total $13.07 trillion. Mortgage delinquency rates rose almost 1%. So crazy from the prior quarter. Credit card balances rose by $24 billion. Previous quarter stood at $1.23 billion. Delinquency rate is at 12.41%. The highest since 2011. You hear that? So, again, guys, as I walk through the show and you get to see this in the background, I love this stuff, guys. I love, I'm not a car guy, but I respect the car culture. I respect the time and the effort that these guys put into vehicles, men and women for that matter. But it's crazy, guys. You haven't seen anything yet. And we're starting to see problems with multiple fast food places that have announced that they're going to round up the penny. Round up the penny. So if something is $12.46. You're going to give us $12.50 now. Isn't that ridiculous? You know they're not going to round it in your favor and go, oh, it's $12.45. Nope, it's going to go up. Yum Brands, which owns the Taco Bell chain, they're not going to worry about going out of business. They're just going to go out and they're going to acquire their own franchises. They just bought 128 Taco Bells for, listen to this, $670 million. Okay, the entire Denny's store chain sold, and all of Denny's, guys, sold for $620 million. And now you've got Taco Bell buying 128 of its own franchises for $670 million. We can run them. They don't want these people to go bankrupt. They're seeing cash flow problems. Why is this happening? Taco Bell's not the greatest business in the world, but what they see is they see that the franchisees are not paying their bills on time. Well, let's take over the franchise. We'll run it ourselves. Again, remember this. I learned this from a business broker that sold businesses. You have people that are tremendously successful. They've made millions of dollars, their families are wealthy as a result of owning this business. And then they think about retiring, they think about selling. And a very popular way to sell a restaurant or business, manufacturing, service company, retail store chain is that, have you met Dan? Dan's an idiot. You know what? What you need is you need to have somebody come in here and step up and buy this and run it like a businessman, because Dan's a complete tool and Dan's a moron. You know what? I have met Dan. Dan is kind of a clown. So we're going to do a much better job. That's what Yum Brands is doing with their own Taco Bells, and they just paid $670 million. The only problem with it is that Taco Bell, overall, the sales for the individual stores are off right now. They're not doing well. So you can blame the franchisees. You can blame everybody. I hope you guys like this show in Vegas. I loved walking around this and just to show you how busy it was in the background and do all this stuff. But crazy times, guys, okay? Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, check out newvideos.com. Don't forget the private channel and make good choices, okay? I'll see you soon.